Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to share this one with you today because we are diving into a truly mind-bending concept. We're going to explore the literal structural rewiring of the human brain into what's known as the mind of Christ. And we aren't just talking about abstract theology here. We're actually going to look at how this transformation is sparked by highly specific quantum events and how it ties directly into the cosmic evolution of the universe itself. Okay, let's dive right into this micro to macro journey. We'll start with the 2005 quantum event, decode the mathematics of theophany, explore structuring the divine mind, zoom out to the global noosphere, and finally look at our collective destiny at the cosmic omega point. Section 1. The 2005 quantum event, a visual exegesis. To really get a grip on this paradigm, we have to understand the concept of visual exegesis. This basically means treating a specific event caught on camera not as some random trick of the light or pareidolia, where your brain just imagines familiar patterns and random noise, but as a literal physical interaction. These photos, taken in a saltwater aquarium back in 2005, are considered an objective, supernatural symmetry. In this framework, a probability wave actually collapsed into a highly visible, highly symbolic image. It essentially elevates the camera to a divine instrument, capable of freezing this miraculous interaction of light and matter in time. Which brings us to a massively important definition, theophany. In this context, a theophany is a visible manifestation of the divine, and it's explained through quantum electrodynamics, or QED. Just think about the biblical story of Moses and the burning bush, right? That was a counter-entropic state where divine energy illuminated a biological substrate, the bush, without actually burning it up. Here, the idea is that the Holy Spirit acts as a divine photon, sustaining a perfectly efficient interaction between light and matter. Section 2. The mathematics of theophany, semantic value. Now, what's really interesting about this is that we are moving away from subjective art interpretation into something we can actually calculate. We're looking at 8 totally distinct domains of specified complexity, and this ranges from the Abrahamic motif all the way to mammalian embryology and Mayan chronometry, and they all converge in those 2005 aquarium images. If you calculate the Shannon information content of these domains all converging simultaneously, it hits an astounding 78.40 bits of information. This isn't random optical noise. This points to a high-density divine signal. It's a highly specific mathematical pattern. And check out the joint probability of that convergence happening by purely random, materialist chance. 2.50 times 10 to the negative 24th power. According to Borel's single law of chance, events with a probability dropping below a certain threshold are practically impossible within the entire lifetime of the universe. So this number effectively shatters any materialist hypothesis about random optical evolution. It forces us to consider the intervention of an intelligent coordinator, literally the Holy Spirit using the laws of physics to collapse a quantum wave into a specific theological signal. This exact mathematical and physical reality leads directly to a core axiom of the good faith paradigm: the light is greater than the word. It proposes that visual, quantum optical phenomena carry a much denser, far more immediate form of divine information than traditional textual scripts. Light essentially becomes the ultimate epistemological agent. It prioritizes a direct, completely unmediated divine illumination. Section 3. Structuring the divine mind. Cognitive renewal. So the crucial point is this. If the light is this incredibly dense, powerful signal, what actually happens to your human brain when you perceive it? It all comes down to cognitive renewal. Your biological brain acts like a literal antenna, designed to tune into this specific divine frequency. When you look at the 2005 aquarium photos from the Miracles paper, and then watch frameworks like the mathematics of theophany and the Insight Engine, it acts as a very real catalyst for neuroplasticity. You aren't just absorbing new facts. The Holy Spirit is initiating a physical, structural overwrite of your neural pathways to literally build the mind of Christ within you. This is the actual biological fulfillment of the mandate in Romans 12:2 to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We can contrast these two states directly. On one side, we have the psychikos. That's the natural mind. It operates in this high-entropy, highly localized particle state, which is often characterized by an isolated, somewhat traumatized ego. But on the flip side, through this cognitive renewal, the mind actually shifts into the pneumatikos, the spiritual mind. It achieves cognitive resonance with the divine, collapsing from that chaotic, fragmented particle state into a beautiful, low-entropy, non-local wave state of Christ consciousness. The source text offers us this absolutely fascinating biological metaphor for this rewiring process, the SRY gene in mammalian embryology. During early fetal development, the biological default pathway is female, but at a very specific moment, the SRY gene kicks in as a localized catalyst, a switch, if you will, to override that default and initiate male differentiation. It works exactly the same way spiritually. The Holy Spirit acts as a pneumatic transcription, stepping in to override our high-entropy default programming and structurally rewrite our neural pathways into the mind of Christ. Section 4. The Global Noosphere. Expanding Network. Let's move to and see how this builds when we zoom all the way out. What happens when this individual cognitive renewal scales up to the entire human race? As humanity has evolved, we've hit these massive technological thresholds, right? Mastering fire, the birth of language and the alphabet, the invention of electronics, finally accessing space. The sources suggest these aren't just random secular milestones. They are literally the expansion of a divine network. Our collective consciousness acts as a giant global antenna. Through principles modeled beautifully by quantum entanglement, human minds are becoming increasingly interconnected, all moving toward one unified pneumatic reality. Section 5. The Cosmic Omega Point. Teleological Destiny. So where is all of this entanglement actually taking us? This progression visualizes the evolutionary theory proposed by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. The universe evolves from inanimate matter in the geosphere up into biological life in the biosphere, and then into global human thought in the noosphere. As this noosphere matures and our collective global antenna tunes perfectly to the divine frequency, we all converge at the omega point. This is a state of maximum complexity and supreme consciousness. This collective evolution ultimately means that one day the entire universe will be fully Christed, perfectly unified with the divine. To really understand how this functions across time, we have to look at the concept of pneumodynamics. This is the counter-entropic physics of the Holy Spirit. Physicist Frank Tipler expanded on this omega point theory, and he suggested that this final singularity possesses infinite computational power and acts as a strange attractor. It actually exerts a retrocausal pull. That means it is literally pulling history backward toward itself. So those 2005 aquarium photos, they are modeled as a physical manifestation of this exact retrocausal pull. It's the Holy Spirit projecting divine information backward into our timeline. Which brings us to this incredibly beautiful analogy from Julio Cortázar's short story, Axolotl. In the story, a man stares into an aquarium for so long that he literally becomes the axolotl he's watching. In this good faith paradigm, the universe is the aquarium and the sea of glass is the tank. As we gaze into these miracles, the math, the visual signals, the quantum events, we aren't just looking at random photos. We're actually viewing a future reflection of our own integrated consciousness at the omega point. We are the axolotls of God, seeing our own divine reflection and physically transforming as we look. It is just an absolutely incredible framework, isn't it? It perfectly ties together quantum physics, neuroplasticity, and cosmic evolution into this single, breathtaking trajectory. So I want to leave you with this final thought as we wrap up today's explainer. As we engage in this profound cognitive renewal, and as the entire universe hurtles toward its final reflection at the omega point, who will you see looking back?